Breakfast. It's Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk, Tech Talk with Matthew Dixon.
Before I get into this, Matty, just talking with Peter Abbott, who's just been announced as the mayor for Cobar. That'll be till the next election. When you were mayor, did you try and set things in train that the next council, if you were booted out, would have to carry on? Is there any requirement for legislation? Is there something that's set in stone that says what Mayor Matthew Dickinson says now we've got to carry on with, or can the next council come along and kick the whole thing into the grass?
Yeah, they can do that because obviously it's a vote of council. So you have a vote of council to do A, and then the next vote of council can do B. Yeah. Now, one of the things that happens sometimes is when you do A, there might be certain things that happen that if you want to undo them, it becomes expensive for a council to undo them. So it's not logical to undo some of those things. But most councils, because you've got some turnover of councils that might stay there, most councils kind of tend to keep rolling on with those agenda items.
Absolutely. Peter Abbott was saying, he's a bit tired of the FBT and the FIFO. So
that could solve the problem. If the Australian government removed FBT exemptions for travel to mining sites, regional communities across the nation, boom. Absolutely. It's just such a simple one.
Speaking of boom, batteries exploding, running out. I mean, how long should a battery last in my cell?
Yeah, so in a mobile phone, the estimation is that if you do about 500 recharging cycles, so that doesn't mean
what, a day, a year, or what?
No, so the battery life will get about 500 cycles, so 500 charges, and then at that point it should be down to no more than, say, 80%. So it's not going to suddenly drop off the face of the earth. It's not going to go along working one day and then suddenly just stop. But what it'll do is it slowly degrades. And that's the estimation from mobile phone manufacturers, about 500 charging cycles. So if you charge it once every 2 days, it'll last 1,000 days, roughly, before it gets below 80%. You charge it twice a day, then it might only get you through, say, almost a year, 9 or 10 months.
Okay. So is that an average use?
It's average use, yeah. But most people charge their phone overnight, 500 cycles. After about 2 years, then they're down to the point where, I don't get quite as long as I used to when it was brand new, because they're probably down around that 80%. And it'll just keep slowly going down. So if you keep charging 800, 900, 1,000 cycles, then it might be down to, say, 70% or 60%. And that's what slowly gets to the point. And then people finally go, you know what, I'm not getting through a full day. I need to do something about my phone.
Okay. Do different batteries suck more energy than others?
Not the batteries, what's using the battery.
Okay.
So
what's it? Mate, I've had talking to a lot of team members and also outside, saying every time I go, it's so low, but I've only made 3 phone calls, and I said, what's happened is, and they said apps seem to suck the energy from the thing.
Yeah, everything that you're doing on the phone uses a little bit. So if you open up an app and you do something like that, and then you don't close the app down, it's sitting there in the background. It may be communicating using a bit of data as well. You've got to be careful of that. But it's sitting there in the background. Sometimes I'll see a phone that might have 20 apps, 30 apps loaded. They're all using a very small amount, but lots of very small amounts added up to a larger amount. So they're sitting in the background, chewing up just that little bit of battery power just by the phone being on, connected to the mobile phone network. It uses a little bit. Connected to Wi-Fi uses less than the mobile phone network because it doesn't have to transmit as much power. Yeah. So all those things are using a little bit.
Shut all the apps down.
Yeah, look, again, don't stress about it too much. If you're at the point where where the apps all open are using up too much of your battery power and you're not getting through a full day, you can stress about it and make sure you close every app when you use it, or just it might be time to upgrade your phone. So I tend
to... here we go. Here's the sales pitch. You don't upgrade your phone.
I tend to say to people, don't stress too much.
Should you recharge or chuck it out?
Most of the phones now are sealed. Most of the phones are designed that you can't replace the battery without a lot of trouble. And they do that deliberately.
That's a good sneaky trick.
It is a good trick by the manufacturers, but they do it so because the phones are sealed and waterproof now, or water resistant.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, they're not waterproof, water resistant. Yeah. And so they're designed for the manufacturer not to be basically have the battery replaced. You can do that.
Why?
I think 2 parts to it. One, once the battery needs replacing, you're probably at the stage where maybe an upgrade of a phone isn't a bad idea because you get the new features of a new phone and the new operating system, etc. But the second thing is it's much easier for them to make sure the phone is water resistant to a certain depth because they rate them to certain depths when they know they've got a sealed unit there.
You can't tell me somebody plunges into the water and with a mobile phone, do they?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had phones that have come in that have been sticky and they've had something on them, so I go put it under the tap and wash them off. So, I don't say go and put it under the tap every single day, but...
There's the advice of an unbiased retailer from Axis. Matthew Dickinson says when your battery runs out, time to get a new phone. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I said that. Yeah. Why not paraphrase it?
But will there ever be an everlasting battery?
I can't see the technology yet, but never say never in technology.
Yeah, that'll be right. Get your new phone. Go on a con. 8 o'clock.